Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking on live at Metal Episode 7. There you see in the back John Cena, who later tonight will come out and explain his actions this past week on Episode 20 when he attacked the Hardcore Champion Raven. Plus, an incredible matchup between Mr. Anderson and Kevin Nash. We'll get to that later, but first, it was last week on Episode 20 where John Cena went to the Commissioner and demanded a world title match and also a rematch with Kurt Angle. When both of his options were denied, he went ahead and was given the advice to make an impression on the Commissioner, and later on in the evening he did just that by attacking Raven following his Hardcore Championship defense. What has John Cena got to say about attacking Raven? We'll find out live tonight on Metal. Following the aftermath of WrestleMania and the aftermath of the night after WrestleMania, we are live for No Limits Wrestling Metal, Episode 7. The aftermath of WrestleMania, one of the greatest pay-per-views in this company's history, continues as we head in for another night of No Limits Wrestling action for you this Wednesday evening. One of the matches signed for tonight, Mr. Anderson going up against Kevin Nash. Mr. Anderson this past week went to Kurt Angle and said, you know what, I'm not the nicest guy and I'm going to make an impression by going after you. Can he build momentum by facing Kevin Nash tonight? We'll find out. And as alluded to earlier, John Cena will get hardcore. What will he say to respond to after attacking Raven? This past week, Cena responds after attacking Raven. Another epic night of metal action continues following the aftermath of WrestleMania. And one thing that happened at WrestleMania caught a lot of people's eye was the way in which Kofi Kingston and R-Truth retained their tag team titles. It was at WrestleMania where Kofi and Truth put those tag titles on the line against the team of Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez. However, during the conclusion of that matchup, while Kofi was out for the count, it looked as if Chavo and Hernandez were about to win the tag team titles when R-Truth got the tag team title belt and hit it across the skulls of both men, causing them to get disqualified intentionally. And because the titles can't change hands on a disqualification, they retain them, despite losing the matchup by DQ. Kofi, towards the end of that matchup, weren't too happy. R-Truth certainly was. Kofi was not, and Chavo and Hernandez certainly weren't happy with the result. They beat the tag team champions, but only by disqualification. Therefore, it was this past week, on episode 20, where the Commissioner ordered Kofi Kingston and R-Truth to defend those tag team titles at Destruction on next pay-per-view against Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez. However, this time, if Kofi and Truth get disqualified or counted out, they lose their tag team gold. High stakes at Destruction. Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez looking to take the titles from Kofi and R-Truth. But tonight it's only singles action. R-Truth not in the building as far as we know, neither is Hernandez. Chavo Guerrero gonna go one-on-one with Kofi Kingston to kick off Metal Episode 7 here tonight. They lock up, and despite the fact that R-Truth was the one who got them intentionally disqualified at WrestleMania, a lot of the fans have been blaming Kofi as well, although I've got to stress that it was not Kofi's fault. Heck, he was out for the count. He was going to lose the titles the fair way, but R-Truth didn't want to do that, but there's the high-flying offense by Kofi. Here's a cover on our, well, kick out by Chavo. Guerrero now gingerly makes it to his feet. Kofi gonna try and go after him, but a chop to the chest by Chavo. Member of the legendary Guerrero family, uses the motto lie, cheat and steal by his Uncle Eddie. However, it was R-Truth and Kofi who were doing the lying, cheating and stealing at WrestleMania, getting intentionally disqualified to retain the titles. Gotta stress that Kofi was not part of that decision. Wasn't happy with R-Truth, but still they're still the tag team titles for now. However, it will be at Destruction where Chavo and Hernandez get their rematch for the tag team titles. Kofi and Truth get disqualified on that occasion. They lose the gold. They get counted out. They lose the gold. But now Kofi double axe handle to Chavo. And are we going to see the boom drop here early on in this matchup? But oh, wait a minute. Kofi looking at the Titantron screen, and I see it too. Look at that. R-Truth is, oh God, he's knocked out backstage. Catches the eye of Kofi. Oh no. Well, apparently they are in the building. Hernandez decking R-Truth in the back. Serves him right in our fairness. But oh my, he's rolled up from behind. And here's a roll up from Chavo, and oh, and he steals this one. Chavo Guerrero steals this one to a chorus of boos. And Kofi Kingston, distracted by R-Truth, and Kofi's lost this matchup in a flash. Chavo Guerrero picking up the victory over Kofi. But how quick and pacey was that? R-Truth still unconscious in the back at the hands of Hernandez, but this is what happened at the end. Kofi looked like he was going to put it away. However, he was distracted by the image of the Titantron. R-Truth had been knocked out by Hernandez. Kofi, distracted by that, rolled up, and then Chavo Guerrero took advantage and got the 1-2-3 for the victory. And now Kofi Kingston, he's hightailed it out of here. He's looking after his tag team partner. He needs to get there quick. Needs to get there fast, Kofi does. There he is, you see him in the backstage, looking for his fallen partner, R-Truth. But where the hell is he? Oh my! Well, there you see him. He found him alright, but he also found a punch to the face. Hernandez knocking out Kofi as well. That's not going to be good. The tag team champions have been put on notice yet again. Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez, they're not happy still at losing the tag team matchup at WrestleMania. They get their rematch at Destruction.
Intensity, ruthlessness, brutality. Just when you think it can't get any more brutal, it will. The extremes of which these men will go to are unfathomable. They will fight to the death. They will fight for what they believe in. They will fight for their lives. And all that is left is destruction. No Limits Wrestling Destruction Live.
A chaotic pay-per-view coming your way in August, and a chaotic way to start the night. But the chaos continues here tonight on Metal with this one-on-one matchup between two of the best. Here comes one of the competitors, Kevin Nash. It was at WrestleMania this past Sunday where Kevin Nash walked into WrestleMania as Hardcore Champion and walked out with nothing. He threw Raven through a steel window, threw Raven right through a glass window. Shards of glass were in him, but that didn't stop him from winning the title in the triple threat matchup that also featured the Big Show. Kevin Nash has not competed since WrestleMania, since losing the Hardcore title, and he is hoping to bounce back tonight with a victory over a brash, arrogant young star in this guy. The man who at WrestleMania came so close to winning Money in the Bank, but came up so short. Was close though, real close, and Mr. Anderson now, here to make an impression in No Limits Wrestling and hopefully, for him, get a world title match in future. That is what his goal is. He set his target for the future, and that's to become world champion. This past week, Kurt Angle went one-on-one the Big Show. One-on-one with the Big Show even. And Mr. Anderson was looking on backstage. Anderson then went up to Kurt Angle later on in the evening and said, you know what, I'm not a nice guy, I'm an asshole. Pardon the language, but I'm just quoting what he said to Kurt Angle. He said, I'm not a nice guy. And there you see, reluctant to get locked up with Kevin Nash in this matchup early on here. And now they finally lock up. Big powerhouse of Nash going up against the young, brash, arrogant star from Green Bay, Mr. Anderson, who changed his name recently in a bid to try and rejuvenate his career. But here's a roll up on Nash and a kick out by Nash. Mr. Anderson went up to Kurt Angle backstage this past week and said, I'm not a nice guy and I'm gunning after you. He said he's gonna try and get the world title opportunity that nobody seems to want to give to him. Especially in this post-WrestleMania period, it's the perfect time to gain some valuable momentum and target somebody. Target a veteran like Kurt Angle, or maybe even a veteran like Kevin Nash. Here's a cover following the power slam and kick out by Anderson. Anderson, if he can beat the veteran Nash, can build some huge momentum in this post-WrestleMania period, competing in this first matchup since Money in the Bank. Nash also needs the momentum here on his side, but not looking well at the moment. And his quad that he's had various problems with in the past, sent straight into the steel steps. Now Anderson knows he's going to work on that body part, and it's not going to go easy, and there he clubbers him, really just clubbering below into the corner there. Flipping out. I'm slurring, but the fact of the matter is, Kevin Nash with all the power, but then again, can get caught out easily there. Anderson with a kick to the quad, and now look at this. Cheap shots to the leg, kicking him in the quad, and that's not going to go well for Nash later on in this matchup. Anderson knows he's got Nash where he wants him, and oh my god, sits down back on it. Sitting down on that leg. Nash in trouble, can barely walk at this point. And now going to go after it again with the submission maneuver. Variation of a figure four, but not really, as that leg held. And Nash may be close to tapping out if he cannot get to the ropes. The pressure on his knee must be tremendous. But Anderson lets go. And now Anderson eyeing up Nash, and you see we have some technical problems with the lighting, but the lights are back on now as he drives the knee into the knee again. Very smart by Anderson to target that body part and drives the knee right into the skull of Nash. The 323-pounder not on his feet at the moment. And now look at this. Boston leg crab. Boston crab, one-legged by Anderson. He's got that leg held. Kevin Nash is in trouble, and I don't like the look of this for Nash. And now he does get to the ropes finally. This is going to force Anderson to break it. Nice leg, hopefully, for Nash. Nash in trouble, but oh my, reverses him. And now Anderson in trouble following the spinebuster. Nash has to rejuvenate this matchup, as Anderson has to rejuvenate his career. Anderson gingerly making it to his feet. Kurt Angle was one thing, Nash is another. If he can't beat Nash tonight, what chance has he got of beating Kurt Angle at any point in the future? Sidewalk slam by Kevin Nash. And do you think Kurt Angle's watching this matchup like Anderson was watching his this past week? We'll find out. I'm sure we will. And is Nash going to go for the jackknife powerbomb? It looks that way at the moment. But Anderson reverses, and now Armai, he's got him on his shoulders, and now Kenton bomb by Kennedy, so quick. Is the 323-pounder taken out, but Big Daddy Cool. Kevin Nash kicks out. People are fake, as he says, but he's waiting for him to get up. Anderson, following the Kenton bomb, has him prone in the middle of the ring. Take a look at this again to get the 323-pounder and flip him in the air. Now has him held by the neck, a firm grasp, and here's a net breaker by Anderson. He is in a world of pain at the moment, especially his leg. Nash is down and looking into the heavens. All he sees is formerly known as Kennedy, Anderson climbing to the top rope. And Armai misses the big splash. This could be the point where it all changes. Can Nash capitalize on this? Mistake by Anderson, and he does. Crowd pops. Are we going to see a jackknife? Anderson in trouble, and Armai is on his shoulders again. Are we going to see a jackknife powerbomb? But Anderson reverses on, has him held now. Anderson has him held, and the mic check by Anderson. Here's a cover, and that's all she wrote. Here is your winner, Mr. Anderson, and you see there the loser, Kevin Nash, really holding his quad, grasping it for dear life. He has got to be in a world of hurt. He has got to be in so much pain. That knee must be in pieces after that brutal matchup. He looks into the floor, but the fact of the matter is, Mr. Anderson builds momentum in this post-WrestleMania period. Mr. Top rope splash, it looked like it would have been over, especially here. Thought it was going to be a jackknife. Anderson jumps down and delivers the mic check for the victory. Seals it with the pinfall, and now he's on the floor. He can't even stand, Ken Anderson. Anderson is standing in the ring, in fact. Nash can't even stand. Anderson is victorious here tonight. Kevin Nash comes up short tonight, but Anderson stands tall. And look who it is. Look who's on the stage. Well, apparently Anderson not only wary of Kurt Angle out here to witness Anderson in his victory. Kurt Angle was put on warning by Anderson, but tonight has seen what he can do for himself. Regardless of that, coming up next, Cena gets hardcore. What will he say after attacking the hardcore champion Raven this past week? Cena speaks out about his attack, coming up next after the break. Episode 21 shaping up to be one hell of an episode. Starts this Saturday, and on that episode 21, a couple of huge matches made, one of them namely between CM Punk and John Cena. John Cena about to come out here and explain his actions, but next episode he will go one-on-one with the Straight Edge Society savior, CM Punk. And another feature being brought back for one night only, Chris Jericho's highlight reel returns, and his special guest, the Intercontinental Champion, Chris Benoit. Jericho interviews Benoit on the highlight reel. And the main event scheduled for episode 21, the challenger for the world title inside Hell in a Cell at Destruction takes on the demonic one in Kane. Shawn Michaels goes one-on-one with Kane. Shawn Michaels preparing for his world title match inside Hell in a Cell. He takes on the Big Red Machine. Next episode 21. Some great matches made for next episode, but one match that's been brewing for a while is this one. John Cena makes his way to the ring to a chorus of boos like he does always. But tonight he's here for a different reason. He's not here to color rap. He's here to explain all. At WrestleMania, he lost to Kurt Angle, and this past week, when he demanded a rematch with Kurt Angle, he was denied. Then, he asked for a world title match. He was once again denied, so the commissioner advised John Cena to make an impression. He did that by attacking Raven following his hardcore title defense. And after attacking Raven brutally last week, what's he got to say to him?
I know how you feel. You don't know who's next. You don't know about the future. I don't need to be John Edward, Miss Cleo, Nostradamus, or Dr. Emmett Brown to know about the future. You can see it, I can see it, everybody here can see it. Everybody watching around the world knows that the future is now. Don't get me wrong, I didn't come out here to tell you that I hate you. As a matter of fact, for the most part, we see eye to eye pretty much about a lot of things. You have truly conquered them all, except for me. This is an opportunity that may never happen again. So I don't come to you tonight out of hate, out of jealousy, out of anger. I just come to you with a question. Are you ready? Are you ready to fight?
Is he ready to fight? Hell yeah, he is. Yeah, he's ready to fight. He challenged the hardcore champion Raven and he's about to come out here. He won the hardcore title in a triple threat matchup featuring Kevin Nash and the Big Show at WrestleMania, and he defended it successfully against Kane this past week. However, it was after the match that everybody's talking about. Raven being attacked by John Cena, being F you for a table on the outside. How will Raven respond to what Cena said? Cena asked him, is he ready to fight? And by the looks of it, he is. He takes off the jacket to show the hardcore title to Cena to say it's mine. He puts it back on. And now what's he got to say to Cena after the brutal attack this past week? Cena, as he met his match in Raven, only time will tell. But you gotta believe what's going through his mind.
There's been some complaints over the past 8 months that what I've been saying has not been easy to understand because of my excessively large vocabulary and my high level of diction. Well, tonight I will put what I have to say in terms so clear that everyone, even those of limited intelligence, will know exactly what I mean. I want you to listen especially close. You should understand my problems. You were the one that picked me up at the hospital the first time I got out of rehab. You should understand my pain, but you don't. 4 years ago, let you go. They said you would never be anybody. You'd never be a superstar. Who lent you a shoulder to cry on? I did. Raven did. Whenever you had problems of any nature, who listened to you on the telephone nightly? I did. Raven did. But what about me? What about Raven? What about me? I spent 3 long years in Barbed Wire City, getting torn to shreds, going through tables, and being hit with frying pans and chairs. But you could have prevented it. You could have stopped it. You could have made one phone call and called in a favor, made a deal, but you didn't, because you were jealous. You were jealous and you were scared that I would become a bigger star than you. You know, I should have listened to the snake. He said you weren't a true friend. He said you'd turn your back on me when you became a star. He was right. I should have listened. But times are different now. And where once I felt your pain, now you'll feel mine. Quote the Raven, forevermore.
Well, Raven obviously venting his frustration there, revealing Cena's backstabbing ways, and what's he got to respond to that?
One crazy son of a bitch, isn't he? Last week, He ducks me. He doesn't want a rematch. Say, I don't feel so good. I don't feel so good. That stupid son of a bitch this week ran out of excuses, so he tried to knock out the power in the building to get all you to leave because he doesn't want a piece of John Cena.
Look at this. John Cena trash-talking Raven, but he ran for the hills when he saw that. Ran for the hills when he saw that nightstick in his hand. Cena, he puts on a tough demeanor, but when it comes up to backing his words, when he comes face to face with the guy, he cowers away. And even after trash-talking Raven this entire time, he doesn't wish to face Raven like a man. Raven wins the verbal assault tonight, but he displays that hardcore title. He displays he's still the king of hardcore, and he's been through so much, and he will go through John Cena if need be.